Alright guys, welcome to the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to 4-valve swap your Mustang GT. So let's get into today's video. Alright, so let's get into it guys. I know the first thing you guys are going to ask, who the hell is this guy? And how is he going to tell me how to 4-valve swap my Mustang GT? I've actually already 4-valve swapped a V6 Mustang and I've 4-valve swapped a GT. And they're actually quite a bit different when you go into the swap. And going with a GT to begin with is going to be much cheaper and much easier on the mind. And like I said, yeah, it's just going to be an easier route to go with a GT to start with, but you can go with a V6. But a V6 is not today's video. We're going to be focusing on just how to 4-valve swap a Mustang GT. First things first, I've already 4-valve swapped a B-head motor, which is the earlier 4-valve motors, which are still great, absolutely great motors. I've already 4-valve swapped a C-head motor as well, and I've already used a B-head motor, which was a Texit block, and I've put B-heads onto it. So I've already been through almost pretty much everything to do with the 4-valve motors, and it's all here on this channel. Everything you just heard me talk about, putting the heads on, setting the timing on these motors, building it, pistons, rods, I've done it all. I've already had videos lined up. All you gotta do is scroll down on the channel to find them if you guys are looking for that information. But today we are gonna go down in the depths and into the trenches of what it really takes to 4-valve swap your, it's going to be anywhere from 96 to 04, because I believe 94 and 95 SN95s, they had 5.0s. So that's going to be different when you're going to do the swap. That's going to be similar to the V6 swap. And like I said, today we're going to focus on the GT swaps from 96 to 04. So let's get into today's video. Alrighty guys, and the star of the show, this is my shitbox. That's what I call it, because obviously if you take a look around it, it does need a paint job and it does need a new top. But we're gonna get to that guys. We're definitely gonna get to making this thing a lot nicer. But trust me, the star of the show is definitely under the hood. Drum roll please. My 4-valve swap. And like I said, here is the star of the show. This is my 4-valve swap Mustang GT. This is actually an 03, and trust me, it might look a little, you know, on the edgy side or on the side of not being the best swap, but trust me, I've been through it. When I talk about, I know all of the secrets of wiring, of mounting these up, of using stock headers. I know all of it, trust me, and I'm gonna share it with you guys today. Alright, so first things first on the list, we have to talk about how this motor is mounted in the car. Yes, I know a lot of you that already clicked on this channel already know it, but just for the sake of the guys that know absolutely nothing about this swap, let's talk about it. The motor mounts are actually factory 2003 Mustang GT motor mounts. The trans is held up by the stock 03 trans mount as well. This is a factory TR3650 car. So factory gearbox that was with the GT, you can slap it right on the back of your 4-valve motor. The piece where it gets tricky is if you have a 6 or a 8-bolt flywheel. That's the only part that actually will throw you off. You have to find that out when you buy or you acquire your 4-valve motor to make sure that you have a proper flywheel for the correct crankshaft that you have. This is a Texit block from a 94 Lincoln Mark 8. These are B heads from a 2003 Mercury Marauder and also an intake manifold from an 03 Mercury Marauder. That's why my intake goes over there, and I rerouted my battery over here. Now, back to mounting. Like I said, let's just get it out of the way. When I used polyurethane mounts on this before, and I ran into a good amount of trouble. And let me explain to you what I meant by that. For some reason, the poly mounts, they hold the motor up higher. I don't know why that is, but they actually hold the motor up higher. And I did that for a while, and I had to reroute my exhaust to fit that whole setup because it moved it up a bunch. But when it came to using the factory, just the regular rubber mounts, this motor sat perfectly where it was supposed to sit. And I had no issues out of it after that. So like I said, just to confirm with you guys, first things first, you can use the factory 2-valve motor mounts, factory trans mount, and the factory GT trans to 4-valve swap your car. The second thing that is massively important is something that actually should be done outside of the car, and that is in the back of the motor. I know you guys won't be able to see it, but it's called a cooling head mod. All of these 4-valve motors need it because it is a detrimental part of keeping these things cool and keeping them together much longer so you can have more fun. Obviously, that's what we're looking to do if you're looking to 4-valve swap. So a cooling head mod is pretty much taking a freeze plug out the back of this head, one out of the back of the passenger head, and creating a crossover so that coolant doesn't get hot spots in the back of the head. Now, that already in itself is a very good mod. I've never even seen this motor get above, I'd say 210, and they're supposed to be around, I think, 220, something like that. Also, this nice piece here that you can barely see because it's underneath my expansion tank is the crossover delete. I highly recommend you guys get this because it simplifies your hose setup in the car. You can use your stock GT bottom radiator hose to go from the radiator to the 4-valve motor, but when it comes to the stock coolant crossover, I think there's like 2 hoses that comes off it. One goes to radiator, one goes down to like join into the bottom hose. Just to eliminate all of that confusion, you can get a crossover pipe delete kit from MMR, or you can make up yours, but MMR does such a good job of making up these kits, and then you just need a small piece of hose to connect that to your radiator and you are good to go. So we just covered swapping the motor and the trans into the car. We just covered cooling, which is super important, and I strongly believe that you should do that cooling head mod before you swap your 4-valve motor into the car. Now let's cover wiring. We're gonna go through this really quick. Wiring is kind of tricky when it comes to this, but it's not too tough. The coil on plug wires that are underneath here, they have 2 prongs. One is going to be 12-volt key on, and then one sends the signal. Whenever you go from 2-valve to 4-valve, all you have to do is depin the connector and reverse the polarity. Super simple, guys. Like I said, all you have to do is depin the connector, and if the wires go like this, all you want to do is flip them right over, plug them right back in. It's not hard at all, but it is tricky, and you have to take your time and make sure that you can do it right, because you can run into issues where if you don't swap them, the car won't start and it'll backfire. It'll do all type of weird stuff. Injector wise, I'm running the factory 4-valve swap injectors, and if you guys can see, I have a little jumper harness right here to go from whatever this connector is. I'm sorry, I don't know what this name is. I know it's EV something. I think it's EV6 to EV1. Don't quote me on that. I'm not really sure, but these are 24-pound injectors that come with the 4-valve motors, and you need an injector harness to go from the GT to the 4-valve motor. Now, a lot of people swap these in using the stock GT injectors. I do not recommend that because it's not gonna burn the proper way, and it's gonna be really, really lean. Also, you're gonna have to extend your wires for the fuel pressure sensor, and you're gonna have to extend your wires for the idle air controller and the TPS. That should cover wiring completely. No, I actually forgot the alternator. The alternator works like this with the 4-valve motor. All you need is the big power connector, and I can't remember offhand which one, but one of these wires on the right, I believe, needs 12-volt constant, and the one on the left needs 12 volts with the key on. Super simple. You can't really mess it up too much more than that. And that's pretty much how to mount it in the car, how to wire it up. how to keep this thing cool. And now let's talk about tuning. We all know that you'll be running this motor off of the 2-valve ECU. If you don't have the money right away to buy a tuner or to get a custom tune, you can do what I've been doing, which is use the 4-valve injectors, and you can use the Mustang GT MAF and just unplug your O2 sensors. Yes, it is gonna run rich, but it's gonna run like an absolute beast. This thing spins second gear like I don't know what else. This is just a beast of a motor. I'm actually currently in the process of getting a tune for this now. That's why you hear me saying that. But if you don't have the money right away after the swap to get a tune, unplug those upstream O2 sensors, use a Mustang GT MAF, and use the stock 24-pound injectors from your 4-valve motor, and you are good to go. Now, let's move on to the tuning aspect of this swap, because you do need a tune if you want to squeeze every little bit of horsepower out of your 4-valve motor. Okay, for the tuning process of the car, you're going to need some way of communicating with the ECU. In my case, I have an SCT X4 tuner, and I also have an AEM wideband so we can read the air to fuel ratio. Now, there is a data logging cable that you can get to go from this to the AEM so that your tuner can see what's going on with the air to fuel ratio. My tuner per se, he says he just needs to see the long fuel trims and he can pretty much tell what the car is doing. But I got the AEM as insurance that we can tell what the fuel ratio is doing, so we're not running this thing too lean, we're not running this thing too rich. So the process of tuning it is that you're gonna have to data log back and forth with your tuner, or you go to a dyno. I don't have access to a dyno because I live in the Bahamas, so I have to data log on this. I have to take it to my computer, I have to put the data log on the computer, and then send the data log through either email or Facebook or some social media platform, and I send it to my tuner. He looks at it, he makes adjustments, he sends me a tune. I put that custom tune on here, I flash it to my ECU, and then I pay attention to my AFRs. I run the car again, I data log. We do this back and forth until we get the tune right. Like I said, I'm in the process of doing that right now, and hopefully after that we'll be able to beat the living shit out of this 4-valve swap Mustang GT. Alright guys, and at this portion of the video, I hopefully haven't bored you guys to sleep. If you guys have any more questions on your 4-valve swap or trying to achieve this swap and I forgot something or I left something out, please hit me up in the comments or hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. I love helping people out. I charge absolutely nothing. If you guys actually do want to give me some type of payment, my PayPal is in the description below. Send me $5, send me $500. It doesn't really matter, guys. Anything at all helps out with the channel. Also, make sure to like, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications if you like content like this. I do weekly uploads 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, so you guys don't want to miss out on any more 4-valve content. I have 5.0 content on the channel, and I also have 2-valve content on the channel, so there's a lot to go around if you guys like Ford motors. Alright, so that's the end of the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe like I said earlier. Always remember, don't drift without your dreams, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.